nobody knows what the two presidents said in the private meeting. What they said afterwards certainly should alarm all of us, because President Trump refused once again to accept the fact that Russia, at Putin's order, interfered in our elections. What the president said was alarming, and it was embarrassing, and it is unacceptable. I hope this Congress is also going to enact more economic sanctions and get it to where it will really start causing a crimp.
Deport Trump! 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 Deport Trump!
Up their statements for the audience. I want people to see what they were putting out today, because these are men who are in the business of knowing. Now, Brennan was the most exercised. He was saying it exceeds the threshold for high crimes and misdemeanors. I mean, look, you can debate that all day. It's not a real legal standard. I don't think either of us see that kind of political calamity heading the president's way over this. He says it's treasonous. We know the law on that. We know a prosecution is very unlikely. But then we get to Ash Carter, and he says, in my almost 4 decades with the national defense, starting in the Pentagon under Ronald Reagan, I never saw or imagined so uneven a handover of American security. And he likens it to the destruction of a cathedral that he had then seen. And now we get to then Coates. Coates didn't ask the White House for approval today, our reporting suggests, Secretary, before he put out a statement that said, after the president trashed the reality of truth in the situation, we've been clear in our assessments of Russian meddling in the 2016 election and their ongoing, pervasive efforts to undermine our democracy. Even though the president contradicted this, he took the time to go back. Are you seeing something different in the response to the president this time?
Well, you know, I think you're hearing the voice of America. I mean, Newt Gingrich, who has supported this administration and this president, said this was the biggest and worst mistake in the history of this presidency. Whether it's Republicans or whether it's Democrats, I think you're sensing the outrage at what took place. Why? Because the American people believe that America is right. I mean, we're dealing with an adversary who has deliberately invaded another country and annexed Crimea, has gone into Syria and created a humanitarian crisis, has conducted probably the worst cyber attack against the United States to undermine our election system. These are bad people. They're bad guys. They're the enemy. They're the adversary. And yes, we want to talk to them. Yes, we want to try to see if we can solve some of the problems in the world. But we have to recognize that they are an adversary whose first goal is to undermine the United States of America. That is the reality that somehow the President of the United States did not face today.
Well, not only did he not face it today, I think that the frightening truth, Secretary Panetta, is the president doesn't agree with you. He does not see it that way. And in fact, he's so confident in that feeling that he echoed it to the entire world here in Helsinki. But Leon Panetta, thank you for giving us your perspective on a very, very important evening. Thank you very much. So if you were watching